Alrighty, y'all. So if you've been following me on Blue Sky or even just some of the posts I've been making on YouTube, y'all will know that I have been trying to write the script for about 2 months, and it feels like every other day it has been changing and updating. And at this point, I'm just going to record and do a brief synopsis of what I wanted to talk about. Also, do mind if you hear any thunder and chaos happening in the background. Today's the only day I can record it where I can just sit down and do this in one take. So I do apologize for that. Hopefully next video it isn't, raining cats and dogs and lizards outside. So there's been a recent situation. I say recent, definitely within the past few months. There has been a rise of live service games starting to become lost media. We're seeing it with Sony. They're a huge issue right now. I'm gonna put a little bit of stuff that's happening about towards the end of the video because it's literally almost an every other day situation and update with Sony. I cannot keep up. Nobody can keep up, so we're gonna talk about that. Sony has been pulling stuff from their digital files, literally shelves. Consoles will no longer support physical CDs anymore. I think about 2028, fairly soon. The PS5s, at least for the generation that I have, does not have a CD slot in it, so you can't even watch movies on there. It is just completely digital. And that's what they're going to be doing with consoles from here on out. Now, it's not just Sony, it's also every other gaming system and console. They're trying to just completely be a digital only product. The issue with that is not only do you not own the games, because digital products, they're all licenses. So I'm going to pop up some TOS or terms of service, licensing agreements, all that sort of stuff on screen. And it is the wildest things. I'm going to be referencing Destiny, Minecraft, and Fortnite for this, just because they're all live service games. They all have events that come and go. They all have DLCs that come and go and things like that. So for the first one for Destiny, if you haven't been keeping up with that specific game, you'll notice that there was a huge issue on June 9th and even about a week or so beforehand where they just out of the blue said, hey, we're no longer doing live updates. That means it's not that it's going to be canceling the servers themselves for D1, D2. It's just no more DLCs, no more live events. I know right now they have Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris fixed on a set schedule, but at one point, for D1, they had the same situation where it's like, okay, we have Iron Banner this time, Trials of Osiris this time, and then now it is quote unquote obsolete. They still have the servers up because they still make money from D1 and people still play it and buy it. Like now, they no longer have Iron Banner and certain things. Like it's just there. And if something explodes in that one, they'll go in, fix it, whatever. But it has not had a live update in a while. I'm not even going to include that Dawning situation that happened a bit ago, where I think it wasn't last year, but no, yeah, I think it was last year or the year before, where for some reason in D1 there was like this Dawning tree massive thing, and everybody's like, did they bring Dawning back to D1? No, it just was one of those things where they're doing with Iron Banner and Trials now, where it's just on a set schedule, and I guess they just assumed nobody was going to be playing D1 in like mid 2000s, so it is what it is. One of the issues that comes with it, not only just the live service being stopped and certain events no longer happening, is there is a majority of D2 that is considered lost media. I don't even say considered, it is straight up just lost media. Like old planets, old raids, old events. Weapons and armors now are no longer considered lost, quote unquote, because they did an update where you can get those things back. But if you wanted to explore IO or anything like that, it's gone. It is completely gone. That lawsuit that happened where, hey, if you reinstall like Destiny 2 this time, you'll get Red War or whatever, it is completely gone. And that is, for me as a gamer, game developer, and somebody who works in management for games, I don't understand how it's just completely gone. I know they had mentioned the new system that they updated to a couple years ago cannot handle the older programming. Makes sense, absolutely. That happens all the time. But it's not like they don't have it. They just don't see a financial purpose to redo all of that, get all the resources into this thing that is obsolete. And, we're going to allocate all of our sources and put them all into different different aspects of Bungie. You know, we have Marathon going on. There's other IPs that they're working on behind the scenes. There's that mobile game that they kind of, I don't know if they're directly working with it, but they had, you know, some input on it. They're just like, no, we're just not going to bring that back. So Season of Arrivals, that season back from Vanilla D2, gone. And we have similar situations with Fortnite. Jesus Christ. We have similar situations going on in Fortnite and Minecraft, where Fortnite has these battle passes, these special events, skins, and things like that that are only open for a limited time. Again, with Minecraft, that has that same situation where it's just like, oh, well, if you didn't play this holiday event or this random event that they did, tough shit, you're not going to play it. Because for those games and a lot of other live service games and a lot of the terms of service, terms of agreement, whatever you want to call it, where we are not making the purchase for the game itself. Like if the servers go down, okay, we can still play it, or, you know, play offline mode or something like that. No, it is a license that we are allowed to use for the duration that they see fit. You know, the servers go down. Okay, we're done with this game. We want to focus on something else. It doesn't matter if you put in $2, $50, $100, $1,000, because that license is now over. It is completely useless to you. They just took your money and ran away, which is a huge issue, you know, for finances reasons, where it's like, wow, I'm giving all this money, time as well when you're playing, and all this stuff, and it's just nothing. They just have the money, and there's legally nothing you could do about that because you agreed when you signed up, when you made an account. Every time you open the game or they do an update, there's always like blasted in your face the screens, and most people aren't going to read it. You know, we had that Sony situation in my previous video where most people just kind of like, okay, I'm not going to read it and go through it. Now we're seeing a huge issue with that, more so just because it's happening rapid fire with Sony. Situation where it's like, hey, you know, if you bought this game beforehand or during this time period, you lose the license, but you just log back in and you have the license again. Issue is, not everybody can log in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I know some people who just don't play video games for like 2 years because stuff happens. Or, you know, maybe they're in an area where they have no Wi-Fi. Like, maybe they don't have Starlink in their area yet. Maybe they just don't want to. There's a lot of people that don't enjoy multiplayer games, online games, and they just want to play, you know, hang out, couple hours, do this, do that, and then you're done, forget about it. But because of this whole push of everything being digital, we don't have that luxury of really owning stuff that we pay for. And I had mentioned in the previous video as well, it's like, well, if you get the physical media, you own it, this and that, la la la. There's a commenter that said, well, you don't really own it. You know, you might have a physical copy of it, but it's not really yours in that aspect as well. And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? They're right. And I was talking about it with some friends where I'm like, yeah, you know, like even if you have a physical CD of D2 or Destiny 2, sorry, it is a paperweight now. You don't really need it. None of the DLCs come in that CD. And if the servers are down, they shut it down. Let's say Wi-Fi just disappears for 10 days, right? During that time, if you want to play Destiny, you can. Doesn't matter if you have the CD, doesn't matter if you have it installed, up to date and everything on your system, because it is a solely live service game, you're screwed. And it's starting to be where you do have it physically, but it's just not yours. Not only just the live service digital stuff, but there's a lot of anti-piracy things. Maybe you get something that's broken. Maybe you get something that breaks your system. You know, there is a lawsuit that's attempting to happen over in the EU where they're going to court and being like, hey, look, we have to prevent video games from being lost because this is ridiculous. And it didn't get through. There's still a fight for it. I know what I'm doing and some other people are doing for specifically for Destiny is getting all the lore timeline compiled into one thing. Like, it's going to be very first thing to the most recent thing, and whatever lore stuff that might not be included in the game that's like in weapons and on the websites and stuff like that. I know Ishtar Collective is a great catalog, but we're doing something a bit different. We're going to include a lot of pictures, a lot of things that, you know, maybe just isn't captured on Ishtar and other places, and just trying to preserve it. There's a lot of communities out there that do that, which is really great, and it's so important to do that. In my previous version of the script, I was telling people, you know, do it for your favorite games, get all the pictures, get all the videos, do it for any game. Because at this point, we don't know what game's gonna get lost tomorrow. There was another situation with Concord, you know, that lasted for like I don't know, 11 days at most, right? Well, some fans were able to grab that game and make their own version of Concord. It's just straight up the assets, and they're like, okay, cool, we brought it live service, here you go, everybody can play. Well, during those terms of services and agreement and the license stuff and the whole legal jargons and everything that happens, that's super illegal to do. You know, most companies are like, look, just take it down. We won't bother with you. Not all companies, you know, they will take you to court, and it is well within their rights. And it can be, you know, intimidating. It's like, ooh, do I want to have this model? Do I want to do this? Just get whatever pictures. Hell, even if it's like a physical copy of what like the game looks like, because there's a lot of people who've never seen it. Like, I had no idea that Destiny 2 had a physical copy for Steam. I had no idea that Fortnite has a physical CD. I thought it was just straight up an entire digital thing. You go online to try to get you a copy of Fortnite, I have seen it go up to $2,000. Like, what? Like, physical media is in such high demand that people know, scalpers or not, people know that people want this. It's very difficult to find games that you're like, oh, I really want to play this or something. Like I showed in the last video, a Jack and Daxter's collector's edition thing, $1,000 something dollars. Oh my god. What else, especially older games like that, what else is going to be hiked up in price? Like right now, there's this resurgence of a lot of nostalgia games and everything else, and companies know that people will pay for this. And the thing is, they're completely right, and people are paying for this. A great example is the Ocarina of Time complete remake. It's going to be more than just textures and model updates. Like, they're going to be doing crazy work with it. We're seeing it with Black Flag 2, the Assassin's Creed game. One of my favorite ones, one of the best pirate games you can ever play. They're reworking it for newer systems. There's other companies looking at other stuff, being like, ooh, okay, people are riding this nostalgia bandwagon trend, and we should look into that. If it goes well, you know, we can be seeing games that we have not seen in a very long time. I know PlayStation has that catalog, but you have to pay extra for it and you have to stream it. And again, not everybody can stream or throw extra money. Like, it's getting expensive, not only to buy the game, but just to be able to play the game. Like, if you've owned a PS3 back in the day, it was completely free to play online. It is still possible to do that. And it's like we're paying for these services that we know can be free or way more affordable. And every year they're hiking up the prices. And it's like, dude, I mean, at what point were we, the consumers, are going to just stop buying these games? Like, there was a meme going around where GTA 6 is coming out of Dipper, where he's holding up like a little copy or like a little piece of paper, and it's like, wow, this is worth nothing because it's just a digital code for a game that if they wanted to, they could just be like, anyways, we're just going to revoke it, and there's legally nothing that you can do about it. You've signed the agreement, you've read the terms and conditions, and if you didn't, well, you shouldn't have signed it and like agree with it in that way. So yeah, even if you quote unquote buy the game, it's that whole licensing thing, and it's getting ridiculous right now. I tried to make this video as short as possible, but there's so much to talk about. Like I said, I've been trying to work on this recording for like 2 months, and just the amount of stuff that comes out is crazy. If you have any games or even movies, I'm gonna leave that for another video, but movies and anything else, you know, try to preserve them how you can, because we're losing stuff again at an alarming rate where it's like, oh my god, we can't preserve this. Just a food for thought. Tell me how we have film of the very first movies ever in existence. We have preserved footage of that, but we don't have anything preserved from live service games that have live events that are limited time. Like, dude, it gets to a point, man. Like, I have no idea what to do. You know, I mentioned previously I worked on games and everything else. Like, I'm working on live service games right now, but it's just like, at what point, where even if you are working on it, you are going to have that job in there, because we are seeing a rapid firing, laid off, studio closures happening, where it's just like, okay, who's making the games now? who's running the show. Clowns. Clowns are running the damn show. It is my monkeys, it is my circus, but I don't know who the clowns are. They snuck in here and I want them out. Anyways, thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I do want to do some more of these long form content videos. I have a couple of videos what to do next. But if there's games that, you really wish that would come back, or maybe have some images or videos of it, or anything like that, or maybe some games that maybe I didn't touch up on, there's so many freaking live service games where you wish that they bring back certain events, or even certain skins and stuff, or updating it to the newest console. What do you guys have opinions on for the situations that's happening in the gaming industry? Anyways, I didn't mean to leave on such a negative note, but on a more positive note, I will say it's really nice to see a lot of games that maybe people haven't played, or older games that just haven't had attention brought to them be brought back recently. I think that's fantastic. I'm a huge Transformers fan, so for any of my Transformers fans out there, are you guys excited for the new game coming out? I want it. I want it. I don't know what it is. I want it. But you know what I really want? That I really hope Hasbro follows that nostalgia trend, because I mean they're doing it for the 40th anniversary of the movie, is bring back, and y'all know exactly what two games I'm talking about. Fall and War for Cybertron. Please, please. Those are my games that I really want brought back. And, I would love to hear what games you guys would like to bring back. If you could, right? Or if you want companies to do that. And if you would consider subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing this around, even disliking it, whatever, you do you, just to try to get the word out on the situations that's happening, because there's a reason why I posted it today on Monday. We're just going to leave it at that. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the support you guys have given me on here and my other socials. It means a lot.